Oh, my. After a long day, I'm all ready for bed, but not before I read from The House of Wooden Santas by Kevin Major. 21 days to Christmas. On school days, Jesse had been used to his breakfast on his lap and a half hour of cartoons. Today, his mother insisted he join her in the kitchen. He dragged himself to the table. "Good morning, my treasure, and what would you like on your cereal this fine and sunny morning?" She held a banana above his bowl, with a small knife ready to slice it into pieces. She was even singing, "Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane." "Whatever," Jesse mumbled. Down came the banana slices. "Sugar?" "Whatever." Under the tea cozy. Not exactly where he would have thought to look, but his mother had done stranger things before. Jesse lifted the tea cozy. His hand jumped back in surprise. Not a sugar bowl, but another Santa. "Oh my," said his mother, "and what have we here?" As if she didn't know, thought Jesse. Popping up in the House of Wooden Santas is Santa the woodworker. He drives a fine nail and strokes a steady saw, and to us he comes, complete, house and all. Not a word from Jesse. "Think Santa could build us a house of our own?" "Wish for it on Christmas Eve," Jesse shot back. He looked at his mother. She was suddenly quiet. He could see a little sadness in her eyes. "We're okay, Mom." She winked his way and showed a bit of a smile. "I guess we've managed so far." She put an arm around him. "You're right," she said, her voice quiet. "And I was rather greedy. Santa is for the small stuff." "Mom, you're squeezing me too hard." She gave him a slobbery kiss. "Oh, man!" He wiped his cheek with the end of his t-shirt and ran off to get dressed for school. He was out the door then and through the snow to the bus stop. He wasn't looking forward to school. As boring as the weekend might have been, school meant work and sitting next to Jonathan. Jonathan was a torment, and he bragged a lot, especially about his father. It drove Jesse crazy. If anyone in the class had a new game, Jonathan was sure to have played it already with his father. If anyone's dad had a new snowmobile, his father had a better one that went twice as fast. And he knew everything about hockey, Jonathan said, because he played it all his life. Plus, he met Wayne Gretzky once in an airport. When Jesse walked into the classroom, he quickly asked his teacher if he could be moved. But Mr. O'Donnell whispered, "Hang in there. Jonathan is going through a little bit of a rough time." Mr. O'Donnell smiled at Jesse and left it at that. Jesse walked down the aisle. Jonathan was already in his seat. Jesse checked his chair before sitting down. The last date had been gum, and the day before that, melted snow. "You're in big trouble," Jonathan said to him. "Me? You'll have to go to the office." "Yeah, right." "Yep." "What for?" "Marking on your desk." Jesse looked down. In one corner of his desk, the corner closest to Jonathan, were 3 words in rough, heavy pencil letters. They stood out like dirty scars. They said, "Don't believe it." Jesse quickly covered the words with his hand. "You did that," he snapped at Jonathan. "No way." Jesse spit on his finger and slid them under the hand covering the words. He rubbed hard. He peeked under his hand and saw that most of it was smeared away. He wet his fingers again and rubbed them away what was left. Just in time, too, for Mr. O'Donnell was standing at the front of the class, his eagle eyes looking directly at them. As soon as Mr. Donald turned away, Jonathan started bugging Jesse again. "So, you still believe in Santa Claus? My father says." "I don't care what your father says." If you're afraid you won't get presents, that's dumb, because you still do. You're what's dumb, Jessie said. Mr. O'Donnell appeared at that moment and stood near their seats like a jackrabbit ready to jump. They stopped talking and started their work. Mr. O'Donnell eased back into his regular swinging walk. Jessie wished more than ever that he could be moved. When he arrived home from school that day, he was feeling extra sour. "Okay," his mother said, "what's the big deal? Out with it. I'm all ears." But Jessie just went off to his room and pretended he had homework to do. When his mother came in and sat on the bed, he still refused to talk about it. "Okay, suit yourself," she said. "Bet Santa understands." She left the room. He heard her go into her workroom at the back of the house. Jessie grunted. "Yeah, right." Sleep tight until tomorrow.